Welcome to TypeScript FM, the friendly podcast for TypeScript developers where we bring you news, updates, and interviews from the community with plenty of tomfoolery sprinkled in. I'm your host, Kamran Ayub, and I'm joined by my co-host and best bud, Eric Onerheim. Together, we're the two TypeScript fools. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's the first Monday of 2026.
That's
Can you
right.
believe it?
We survived, mostly.
We did. Yeah. How was your break? Did you have a break for like a week or 2 weeks?
I had a 2-week break. I'm technically still off. I took today and tomorrow off because I knew it was going to be an intense break because we tried to body train. It didn't stick. It's okay though. It's okay. We tried really hard, really valiantly. We were so prepared to. We took a class, we read a whole bunch of books on it, and she just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But we did give out a lot of M&Ms. I did have to fish a lot of M&Ms out of toilets. And she kept going for them, and I was like, "No, I'll just give you a new one. You don't have to go for the toilet M. Just
don't eat the toilet M&M.
Don't eat the toilet M&M." She was kind of a rock star about it too. She was going to be like, "I want the green ones. I want the green M&Ms. Only the green ones," which I thought was pretty fun.
We did. I think we've done M&Ms, but we've done jelly beans mostly for that type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to you before the show, but for our youngest daughter, she was a little later to the toilet training, but eventually just clicked. Like 1 week she was just ready to do it. But we had tried before that. It was a huge pain, lots of crying involved. And we're like, okay, she's doesn't want to do it right now. So it'll happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's fine. She's so interested in it though.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, it's been her only topic of conversation for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even before and after.
Yeah.
Like it's all she wants to talk about.
Yep. There's a lot of good like library books that we got, that incorporate potty training in it. So then she would read those and just trying to get her more used to it. Yeah. What else did you do over break besides potty training?
Well, you and I got a bunch of Lego kits.
We did.
Because we're giant children. And I'm not ashamed, but we both got the same one. We got the piranha plant.
Yeah.
In fact, it's behind me right here.
I see it.
Constructed.
Yeah.
On top of my Lego nests.
A
lot of fun. It was a good set. It looks just like it. It's like very well done.
That's cool. I have not put together my sets yet. I got the piranha plant like you, and I got myself the original Nintendo Game Boy set. So those will go on my back shelf eventually once I get those. When I record my course, I'll do it before that so that it shows up in my background.
Yeah. I'm going to try to record today, and I have it done up real nice. So I'm working on my Minecraft Lego kit right now. It's on the kitchen table, probably being destroyed by a cat.
Well, I see that you've got like a new video setup.
Yeah. It turns out this phone is the nicest camera that I own.
It looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks good.
So Windows has this phone link app, which will let you use it as a webcam. So I have it mounted with like a phone mount for like vloggers use this.
Yep.
I have like a tripod and a phone mount up here pointed in a better direction than my webcam was. And then it points out all my cool stuff back there.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. So we're going to try to record a couple videos over the next 2 days. We'll see how it goes.
Sweet. This might turn into 2026, the year TypeScript FM adopts video. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to look all pretty and shave.
More tweaking required. There was a lot of stuff that happened in Excalibur. I saw. I was sort of lurking in the Discord.
Yeah. We dropped a version of Excalibur, and we talked about that. I was hoping to do that. We dropped a version of Excalibur on Christmas Eve, which was awesome. Like right in the morning.
Update. Yep.
Yeah, really big update. Dropped a version, updated everything. One of our community members, Justin Young, has been a machine and has added a whole bunch of how-to docs to Excalibur. how to do like an ECS primer, how to use Excalibur's ECS entity component system, how to build custom graphics implementations. So like if you want to do something that is a little special, you can do that. And then a whole primer on how to use colliders in Excalibur, which is super cool.
Nice. This is good because I did like a quick docs audit a few weeks ago, and we have a lot of great conceptual docs, but one gap that we had is that we don't have a lot of how-to like recipe docs. So these are a whole bunch of like how to actually do practical stuff. And yeah, he's been working on it like a machine over break.
He's going to listen to this and he's going to send me a message.
Yep. Cool. I mean, did you get together with family and stuff?
Yeah. We managed to all avoid getting sick, which was good.
Good.
We got together. It was a lot of fun. I was full of cheese and confused for several days. We had so much food. I think I over prepped food. So I was eating barbecue meatballs for like 3 days.
Nice. That's funny. The barbecue meatballs, my uncle made those as well. And so I took some home with me. And yeah, those are good.
Mm-hmm.
But he did shredded beef. For Christmas Eve. We did brisket. And then we also did bibimbap for Christmas. So we had like a sort of variety of, different foods and stuff that we did. It was very good. A lot of good food over the holiday break.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I was so full.
Yep. We stayed in town for the most part. I mean, we drove about 40 minutes to go to my uncle's place for the Christmas family get together. We did not avoid sickness though, unfortunately, because the last day of school, daycare, our youngest came home with whatever influenza A, type A.
Great.
Yeah. So
I hear it's a real butt kicker.
Yeah, she did not have a good time, but she got her amoxicillin and stuff. And so, she's all better now. But it was a few days of she was not feeling good. And then, of course, the oldest gets it next. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't feeling good for like 4 or 5 days. And then me and my wife were doing fine. And we had all had our vaccinations and stuff. Well, it turns out that the vaccinations were for the other type of influenza, B, not A. So we both got sick eventually. But luckily, I don't know if it was because we got vaccinated or what, but it really only lasted about a day or two for me and my wife. But But now everybody's feeling good and everybody's back to school. Back to the old grind now. All right. Should we talk about some of the news for the last 2 weeks? This would be for Christmas week, so the week of the 22nd and the week of the 29th. Honestly, there's not like a whole lot of news because pretty much everybody else, the whole internet took off as well.
Yeah. Everyone took a break. So
yeah, but who didn't take a break?
Yeah,
some generous soul in the security community who dropped an exploit to MongoDB on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
This was the MongoBleed exploit, which you probably heard about by now, especially if you have a MongoDB instance. This is pretty bad news. This is like the Heartbleed vulnerability. So basically, it's a buffer overflow where you can request more memory than you should be allowed to. And it's part of the zlib's, zlib compression algorithm that MongoDB is using. So it was actually an exploit in the underlying zlib implementation, which just goes to show that you got to be careful what dependencies you take in. Because apparently in the protocol, it accepts you get to tell the server, here's how much memory I need. And then the server, in this case, was not validating that memory had been zeroed out, right? So it was it wasn't clearing out the requested memory buffer. And so then you could just get a bunch of extra stuff. So of course, you just keep doing that and you can scan and find in-memory secrets and passwords and things like that. And that allows you to then exploit the server even more.
Just read random junk that's in memory. Could be anything.
Yep, could be anything. So anyway, that was not a fun day for production teams around the world.
And it affects every version of MongoDB for like a decade. So if you have Mongo, you're affected.
Yeah,
basically.
And it obviously has to be public facing, or at least, accessible by an attacker. So if you are doing a security best practice and keeping it, within an internal private network, then the attack surface is greatly reduced. You still want to patch, obviously, but this is mainly a problem with public-facing servers. I think Ubisoft got pwned for like Rainbow Six Siege or something. Hackers were able to like grant themselves in-game currency or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, not fun.
There were a few people that got owned
Mm-hmm.
over the holidays because of this. And this security researcher, God bless, they're getting coal next year.
It was a very Grinch move to do that.
Yeah, it was.
Oh boy.
Wait until today, okay?
Yep, exactly. Give teams time to recover. Oh man.
No kidding.
Well, speaking of security releases, we keep talking about the next upcoming Node.js security release. It got postponed again.
It's like Fusion.
But it's supposed to come out later this week. So keep a watch out for that. But in the next show, well, it's a 50-50 bet whether it's going to be delayed again.
Do you think it'll be will the patch drop? Yeah, at least it waited until after the holidays. It's scheduled to be released the 7th.
Cool. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, there wasn't really any other big news. We did have a few libraries that got released over break that looked pretty interesting. The first one is VLA. This is a data layer that integrates into any TypeScript framework. So they included like Next.js, SvelteKit, Express, Koa, TanStack, etc., and provides structure to write smooth, clean, scalable, and testable backend code bases. So it's like an API toolkit or API layer.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat. They have like a whole service locator thing where you can inject different like repositories or services.
Mm-hmm.
They have this pattern, which is the subclass sandbox. So you get, I'm going to extend a thing, and then I have a bunch of things hanging off of this, so I can do this dot. I'm going to do my special stuff. This dot, I'm going to do my special stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a nice little section on like why VLA, or maybe it's pronounced VLA, but I've just been saying VLA. But they say full stack TypeScript frameworks excel at the front end. They've got routing, rendering, server actions, but they leave the backend data layer unstructured. So without conventions, code bases become messy. You've got unclear separation between business logic and data access. Testing requires module mocks that leak file paths into tests. Code dependencies become tangled as the app grows. So VLA fills this gap. It provides structure and conventions for your data layer without replacing your framework. It's a library, not a framework. No HTTP server, no build tools, just patterns that scale. So that gives you kind of a nice sort of like, it's not a full framework. It's not a full stack framework. It's like more of like a toolkit or library. So you can like extend a lot of the built-in stuff that they provide.
Yeah, this is very much an ASP.NET looking kind of pattern.
Yeah.
So if you like that way of working, I think you'd like this.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Looks neat. This was by Timome on GitHub and Blue Sky. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Next up, I've got a few more library watches. A Blue Sky user, Tom Doerr, actually is the MVP of the library watches this episode. Had a lot of cool links. The first one is a TypeScript SDK for doing iMessage automation on macOS. So if you're doing any kind of macOS dev, you can check out the Photon HQ Advanced iMessage Kit repo, open source repo, for doing iMessage stuff. So if you need to do doing stickers, sending attachments, sending messages, doing effects, all of the stuff, you got a strongly typed iMessage TypeScript client.
That's cool.
Next up, Tom Doerr again showed off a repo from Ashudubi. I don't know how to pronounce their name. I'm very sorry. With React Native UI templates in TypeScript. So this is if you're doing like TypeScript, mobile dev, React Native is a way to do that. And they have some really cool like templates that are pretty high fidelity here. They have like a hotel booking, a design course, animated onboarding screens. So you can just jump in and get started. Definitely looks pretty cool. There's also a link to an Ionic version of this project. So if you're like, I don't want to use React Native for whatever reason, or I can't use React Native for whatever reason, there's an Ionic version of this. So that is abstracted from like a particular framework. So you can use Ionic with web components, basically. So it'll work with whatever flavor framework you want to use, as long as web components are a part of the story.
Nice.
But yeah, check that out. Very cool. Lastly, again, from Tom, there is a library called JS Draw, where you can do little cool like pen and paper-styled images with a JavaScript library, so you can do little sketches. It's kind of cute.
That is neat.
If you need to do a little bit of drawing in your app, with your finger or with the stylus or with the mouse, go for it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it can even output it to SVG, which is pretty slick. And you can get the SVG markup for it.
Nice. Make a little game for your kids.
That's right.
They can draw stuff. Now, this is going to let you make the Drawful game. Have you ever played that?
Actually, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, make a little open source Drawful.
Yep, that'd be neat. Multiplayer.js.
Multiplayer.js.
All right. Should we move on to some of the community highlights? Because there wasn't a whole lot of sort of vendor news, but there's a lot of stuff happening in the community to highlight.
Yeah, ton of community stuff. First off, Justin gets top billing again. Justin Young, Excalibur.js core contributor, wrote a great article on strongly typed events in GameDev. And this applies to more than just Excalibur or TypeScript in general. It's a very, very cool take on how to do events with GameDev. So definitely check that out. And if you happen to use TypeScript, there's practical examples of how to strongly type your events and handlers.
Yeah,
Super
and
cool.
This made the rounds in multiple newsletters too, which is pretty cool.
Super cool.
A friend of the show, Josh Goldberg, had a few things that he was working on over the break. First, he had a blog post about Flint, his new modern linting engine, and he does call it experimental, but he wrote up a more deep dive blog post into the architecture and what Flint tries to solve versus ESLint. And hopefully we are going to have him on soon to talk more about that. The other thing that he was able to do, which is really exciting, is that he keynoted NodeTLV in Israel, and his keynote was tooling like it's 2025. So you can watch that, but I bet that's pretty fun.
Just in time for 2026.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. If you know CSS, then you may know Verou. She had worked on one of the original teams that came up with the color spec for the browser. So she works on the Color.js library. And so what's awesome about Color.js is that it's an exact implementation of the color spec because it's by the people who wrote the color spec. So it is the canonical utility library in JavaScript to work with colors. But she had a major release over the holiday break. This incorporates over 3 pre-releases over the past year, and she says it's likely to be the last 0.x release until 1.0. So that's pretty cool. But their package has 3.5 million downloads per week. So Color.js is heavily dependent upon. But they've got some new stuff. But they've got new color spaces. I don't even know what these are. OKHSL, OKHSV. These are all different color space spectrums, I think. So they've got new stuff there. They've got more control over serialization, so you can specify format from any color space without having to convert the color to a different color space. They've switched from TypeScript types to JS doc. So this is interesting because we did talk about this in a previous episode. Some of these libraries want to take advantage of TypeScript, but they don't want to go through all the build tooling. And so they are switching to JS doc types. So that's pretty interesting. They went all in on JS doc. So for complex types, we're still using .d, .ts files with the new JS doc import syntax so that JS doc is still the source of truth. So this doesn't really affect you, but it's just internal work that they did. So it's interesting to see another library go all in on JS doc.
Hey, I use the same trick for the Excalibur browser extension. I use the import JS doc syntax to import d.ts files.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, this is a 2 pages long, release notes, so you can go check it out. I just think it's cool because I had not used Color.js directly, but apparently, obviously, it's quite used. So this was a pretty big release.
Yeah, super cool, super cool.
All right, another one by Matt Huggins. This is on TanStack form and how to build a reusable form component library in TypeScript with TanStack form. This is pretty cool because I myself come from a React hook form background. That's what I'm using in my app. And there's some friction points with it. I'm trying to do some pretty advanced stuff. And so I was really interested in what TanStack form had to offer. So this is a great blog post that kind of goes into that detail because Matt also is coming from React hook forms and sort of can compare and contrast how those are working. All right. This one is for you, Eric. I thought you would find this pretty cool. We have sort of talked a little bit about static Hermes, which is Facebook's compiler. So what's interesting is that it can compile JavaScript to C.
Mm-hmm.
And Devon Govett posted on Blue Sky that he was able to compile the Less.js source code into a C library and then called it from Rust as a native parcel plugin without Node, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that is really wild.
He has a deep dive blog post that goes into that, but I immediately thought of you, Eric, when I saw that.
I'm definitely going to be reading Devon's blog post. And if you're uninitiated, Devon is the author of Parcel. So one of my favorite bundlers. I've been using Parcel for a very long time, and they really lean into the zero configness. I'd say that's where they're competing. Is you run it and it works.
Yep. Yeah, Parcel is a pretty popular build tool for Excalibur games because it is so simple to just get started with.
That's for sure. Pretty neat stuff. Yeah. Suffice to say, Static Hermes is mega experimental, mega ultra super duper experimental. So I wouldn't bet the farm on that one.
Yeah, maybe don't go to prod with it, but looks like you can definitely experiment with it though.
Cool. Next up, if you were hankering for more Doom and TypeScript, Dimitri has something for you. Yesterday, he posted a 6-hour live stream on the Michigan TypeScript YouTube channel of going through the code base and using his new tool, TypeSlayer. Throwing up the horns right now. If you can't look, I'm throwing up the metal horns. To go through and deep dive into the Doom TypeScript type stuff and see how it works. So if you really want to piece through that, I think I watched like a good 45 minutes of it and I had to go do something else. And then I came back later. I was like, he's still going. This is 6 hours long. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, I think my guess is that he's going to use that as raw source material to edit into a YouTube video. That will be the Doom and TypeScript deep dive. So we'll let you know when that hits as well.
Yeah. You know what the holiday breaks are for? It's for programmers to go and work on their video game prototypes and pine for the fjords of game development. And that's what I have next up is Super Patience, an open source pixelated Solitaire in TypeScript. So go check that up from Oidoid, I believe is how you pronounce it. But it's using Asprite and a WebP, C WebP, and you can play some really cute and charming Solitaire right there in the browser. It looks like Mario Paint from the Super Nintendo.
That's awesome.
And I love Solitaire personally. So there we go. Next up, I have Lo-Fi Valley Engine, which is now open sourced from Leocast. This is a web-based farming simulation engine built with React, Zustan, and TypeScript. It's open source, and you can build your own lo-fi farming game. So if you ever have pined for the fjords of farming games, you can now go and make your own farming game. It's kind of in their own copy. It's inspired by Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, Fae Farm, that kind of vibe. So definitely check that out if you want to make a farming game, which I do.
I think this is pretty cool because they basically have given you all the primitives to make your own farming game. So it's not like a full farming game. It's just everything you need to build one.
Yeah.
So you can make your own.
They have this really cool website about it where you can go and they have a crop testing environment and they have a designer farm laboratory and tools. You can go do that. And they have a little link here to open the Lo-Fi Radio YouTube channel to listen to lo-fi beats while you make a lo-fi valley.
Nice. Love it. Sweet. I think this was all the news for the end of 2025. So of course we have to end on a Bleet of the year, which is to sum up your entire year of TypeScript, right? Mm-hmm. So luckily we got one, which is from Ryan Kavanaugh, who's on the TypeScript team. And their Bleet was your TypeScript year in review. You silenced 417 errors with as any that turned into runtime errors as soon as the code ran. TypeScript printed 4,693 error messages. 26 of them made sense. You spent 98 minutes waiting for TSC to run. During this time, you spent 544 minutes reading social media. And then someone followed up and said, you used the satisfies keyword 10 times, putting you in the top 3% of TypeScript developers. So true. I love satisfies now. Now that I learned about the satisfies keyword, I'm using it all the time, where I used to use as, where like you have to like, you want to just say, this is this interface. Trust me, bro. But satisfies lets you do it in a lot safer way, which is nice.
Yeah, you can narrow without throwing caution to the wind.
Yes, love it. Cool. You got some cool links that maybe you came across during break?
Yeah. The first one, Josh Goldberg, friend of the show, heard me opine about function inlining last episode and sent me his prototype of doing TypeScript function inlines. That was part of a whole back and forth with the TypeScript team. So if you are like me and you need to do that and you're experimenting with that for performance reasons, check out his repo. I'll link it in the show notes.
Nice.
And earlier in the year, I was talking about passkeys. And no one knows what a passkey is, even us. So expecting non-technical people to understand what passkeys are and why they're different than passwords, or what they are, or what the limitations are, it's gonna be tough. There's a great video from Computerphile that I've linked here that gives you kind of a TLDR, what they are, and explains the cryptography behind it. So it's more for technical, but now you'll be able to explain what passkeys are to your friends and family.
And this came up a couple weeks ago or a week ago because someone was complaining about passkey implementations on Blue Sky, and this was someone from the NPM team, I think, and they brought up some good points because it can be kind of messy. Like the different vendors will implement passkeys differently, and I think the big question in my mind and why I haven't like gone full on passkeys yet is like, what happens when I create a passkey on my desktop? Can I then use that passkey on my phone?
No.
The answer is nuanced because it depends. Again, it depends on what you're doing. If you're using a Google Pixel phone and you're using Chrome everywhere, then your passkeys will get synced and you can use it across your phone and your desktop, but only in Chrome, right? The other thing that you can do is that you can use a password manager that supports syncing passkeys. And unfortunately, I don't think LastPass does, because that's what I use, and I have not seen anything from them that lets me like sync my passkeys. But I think 1Password does.
Let me look.
So that might be an option. But the other thing is that it's tied to the underlying OS, right? So if you're like me, where you might be using like Firefox on desktop, and then, whatever, Microsoft Edge or Chrome on Google, your Android phone, those two are not going to share like passkeys. But the way that someone described it to me was like, it's like you have multiple keys for your house, right? So you have one key that you bring with you all the time that you can use to open your house. You create a duplicate key. There's still two different keys, right? They're two different physical keys. You just have to be able to access them somewhere. So like the websites that implement passkeys need to be able to let you create multiple passkeys, because otherwise if they don't do that, then they're not following the standards. Because that's really the trick, is that you should be able to use your phone as a passkey for the same account, and then your desktop as you might have another passkey on your desktop, and they can be two separate keys, but the underlying website needs to support multiple passkeys for your one account. So that's where I think people are complaining of like, yeah, the underlying technology makes sense, but the implementations, practically, they're all over the place, because I don't think that that's always the case where these websites allow you to create multiple passkeys. And so then you're stuck where like you have to have a recovery code or something like that to be able to get back into your account if you reformat your computer or something goes weird where you lose the passkey, right?
You step on your phone, crack it in half, bounce it off concrete.
Yeah, because like this stuff happens, right? Like we switch phones, we upgrade phones, but like that's what users fear, right? And that's what passkeys are supposed to address. Like if my password manager can't actually sync passkeys across my devices, then I live in fear. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I did a quick Google with Coggy, and 1Password does let you store passkeys, but you can also do their whole like sharing passkeys with your family and stuff. So if you need to like share logins to like Netflix or whatever.
Yeah. So that's nice. So that might be, a motivating thing for me of if LastPass doesn't get their stuff together, I might have to switch. All right. Well, I didn't really do too much over break as far as like I was mostly just working on my course. So it's not like I have a ton of cool links unless you're interested in like a lot of MCP server links. But what I did do is I got to play some games a little bit. So I've made some progress in Outer Worlds 2. That's really the cool game that I've been playing lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot more games than I have. I basically played more games this break than I have all year.
Nice.
And it was all like puzzle games. I was playing like Pyo, like Tetris likes stuff. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, this year in 2025, I believe I completed 10 games, which was like some 200 hours or something of playtime. I do not have a wrapped feature for keep track of my games, because the feature that I need to be able to deliver that I just finished. So this next year in 2026, hopefully by the end of the year, I'll come out with like a wrapped feature because that'll tell me, hey, you finished this many games in this many hours, But I had to calculate that manually this year because I don't have the aggregation. Yep. But that's like a lot more games than I usually complete in the year. So I was pretty proud of that.
I think it's time for the long goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to you about this a little bit. I've talked to my partner about this. I think my takeaway is that everyone rested during the break.
Mm-hmm.
And my plan for 2026 is to incorporate more deliberate rest. Like, not be productive every minute of every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's impossible. You can't.
Yep.
And I have, in the last year, either been taking care of a child, slapping a keyboard, or asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not very sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, I'm incorporating more deliberate rest, where I will schedule my rest and watch a video. I will watch television and not feel guilty about it.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. I mean, we do that pretty regularly. And it's a lot of it's because I would not really watch television on my own. Like I'd rather be playing a game if it was just up to me. But my partner really enjoys watching shows and stuff, so we'll watch stuff together. The only thing is that I've got a guilty pleasure of watching Fixer Upper. And so over break, they came out with Fixer Upper Colorado Mountain House. So I watched that. It's only like 3 or 4 episodes, but yeah, that was fun.
Awesome. So cool. I watched a whole bunch of, this is terrible. I watched a whole bunch of Minecraft YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I fell into the whole like special interest on Minecraft hole. I just watched a whole bunch. Some of these Minecraft YouTubers have incredible production value.
Yeah, they do.
It's blows me away. Like they are really putting in a lot of effort and doing really cool stuff. Like it blows me away.
That's what the kids watch nowadays. They'll be watching Minecraft YouTube. Cool.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hi, everyone. This is Kamran. I just wanted to thank you for listening to the show, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to see the show notes, you can check your podcast player or go to TypeScript.fm, where you'll see a list of all the episodes. If you enjoyed the show, tell your friends, and please rate it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because that's how the show grows and gets discovered by more people. If you want to suggest news or a project that should be covered, or just want to say hi, email us at feedback@typescript.fm. If you want to follow us on social, we're both active on Blue Sky. I'm at comronigus.com, and Eric is at ericonerheim.com. You can also follow the show directly at typescript.fm.